What's good, everybody? It's a Saber54. We're going to be looking at another new deck for the standard format today. And it's going to be based around the monkeys, the apes, the new evolution of Primeape, Annihilape. Now, I was thinking of making an Annihilape deck when the first Sword and Shield, the first Scarlet and Violet set came out. Focusing on this guy because I did think it was one of the strongest stage 2s, at least has the components necessary to at least work, you know, attacking with 1 energy, doing high damage. HP of course is terrible, but I mean by the time I got around it and got the cards, we got this guy too, the EX version, Annihilape EX, and in the end I think these guys work best using them together. I did think maybe the best way to go forward is still focusing on the regular one, but having the EX one as the last dude, like to just use with his 320 HP when your opponent is at 5 prizes. So go 3 and 1, but then I thought to myself 2 and 2 is probably best because in the early game this guy is going to be better, you know, putting pressure, doing high damage, and then as he's dying, your opponent getting prizes, then the regular Annihilape can be stronger. But in the end, I do 2 and 2. Maybe if you want to do like 3 and 2 of an extra regular Annihilape, it's up to you. But if you guys don't know what these cards do, you got the original Annihilape here with 140 HP, really bad. It's always going to be dying in 1 shot. But both of its attacks are actually quite good. The Dynamite Punch, awesome name. Shout out to Black Dynamite. It does 170 for 2, and then you do 50 damage to yourself. Once again, because we have such low HP and we're going to be dying in 1 shot anyway, the self-damage hardly matters. So this is essentially 170 for 2, and it's a big hit. It's in that range to get 2 hit KOs on most Pokemon, and it's a heavy chunk of damage. Once your opponent has taken a couple of prizes, then the Rage Fist attack does 70 damage for each prize. So if they've taken 2 prizes, that's 140 for 1. If they've taken 3, you're at 210 for 1. That's really impressive. And then the more prizes they get, the stronger this attack gets. Basically, once they're at 5 prizes, this guy does 350 damage for 1 energy, which is extremely good. You're basically 1-hit KOing anything in the format. Whether it's a Stage 2 EX, V-Star, V-Max, doesn't matter. You're killing everything, and that's really powerful. This is why I think out of the Stage 2 regular Pokemon, this guy's one of the better ones right now. Now, the Stage 2 EX Annihilape, which is from the Paldea Evolved set, the new card here, strangely, you can only get this in like this full art form, and I had to spend a lot of gems to craft an extra copy. I don't get it, but anyway, it has decent HP for a Stage 2 at 320, bottom stats are kind of standard as well, and it has 2, I want to say okay attacks. They're not the greatest. The Seismic Toss is your generic, you know, conventional 150 for 2. Not the greatest base damage in the world. I guess for 2 energies, it's solid enough. And it is going to put you for 2-hit KO range on the V-Stars at least. But the main thing we probably want to exploit is the Angry Grudge attack. Now, this attack isn't perfect. I think they could have designed it to be a little better. But it's going to hit for high damage still. So you can put up to 12 damage counters on this card, and then for each damage counter you do times 20. So essentially what you can do is you can do 120 damage to this guy, self-damage, to do 240 damage for 1. Now 240 for 1 is incredible. You get 1-hit KOs on most regular rule box Pokemon, Vs or EXs. Stage 1s are barely gonna survive, and then if in the future if they give us some sort of good tools, I suppose we do have some tools that you can use to boost the damage. You can even get 1-hit KOs, but it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent extremely quickly. Now the drawback is that you're softening up your brilliant large 320 HP for a Stage 2, which kind of defeats the purpose of the high HP, which is kind of shitty. If you're gonna put 12 damage counters on you, you know, you're at 200 HP going into your opponent's turn. That's not very good. What they should have done to make this attack good was give it some base damage, like maybe 50 base damage or something, and then you can put up to I don't know, like 8 damage counters or something to boost the damage forward. And this way, maybe you don't do so much self-damage, and you can still do a lot of damage that way. I don't know, but just give it at least some base damage as opposed to no damage unless you put damage counters on this guy. I think that would have been better. But that's the EX. We're running 2 and 2. You can make a deck with either one and drop the other one completely. I think the regular one is the stronger one potentially, but I mean, it is a mid to late game card. That's a problem. In order to do some serious damage, you kind of have to let your opponent kill a few of your guys first, and that's really his problem. I guess you can use the second attack. I mean, if I gotta be honest, if we had a good way to just accelerate fighting energies, like we had a fighting patch, then maybe just going fully focusing on this one and just dropping this card would work, because then you can do 170, apply a lot of pressure, and then once your opponent has taken prizes, then you can do the Rage Fist, and then you're only running a regular ass Pokemon deck. Your opponent can't get any easy double prizes against any X, and that's where this guy sort of shortcoming is, especially because of the self damage. But anyway, I played matches with the deck how it is, so I'm going to show you guys how I've made it. I got a few of the basic Pokemon. We got around the monkeys. I just have a few of each, like 2 of this and 2 of the other one. This one does like 30 for 1, but then you do self damage. This one has 2 standard attacks, 10 for 1 and 2 for 30. They don't really matter. They both have 60 HP. You know, these cards are seriously, there's just no improvement. You can look at a monkey from the Diamond and Pearl era. You'll find the same shit. You know, 60 for 1, 1 for 10, 2 for 30. No improvement at all. But you gotta have them. Whichever ones you want to run. Then Primeape. This one we have a few options. So there's another one that's better that does high damage for 1 energy, but I don't have it. I think it's from the first Scarlet and Violet set. I can't be bothered to craft some of these cards. You know, spending a lot of gems for common cards. I don't have it in me. I save my gems for only the high-end shit. But it doesn't matter. We're not really going to attack with Primeape anyway unless we're desperate. So this one with 110 HP should do. And then the rest of the cards is basically support. I mean, that's it. Straight up. I got the Jirachi here, the Radiant Jirachi, which is probably the best one. It's the Radiant card here. If I open with it, if they gotta kill it, I get 3 cards from the deck. Helps us with consistency. That's why I have it. You could do like maybe Venusaur if you want to get that draw. His big retreat might make him stuck though. Who knows what can happen. I just think Jirachi is better, but who knows. We got the Mew as well. This is another good opening Pokemon. Mysterious Tail. Help me get some items. Help me set up once again. Then I got the Manaphy for bench protection. This can't be handy to protect your little guys from Greninja and other snipers. Yeah, don't dismiss this card, especially because we got the space. And then I got the Mimikyu's, this new card, which is the new wall Pokemon with Safeguard. Protects itself from EXs and Vs. So if we open with this and they don't really have a way to attack, kill it with a regular Pokemon, maybe it can buy some time. So it's another card that might be good. I don't have a way to attack with it. I guess maybe putting a few psychic energies would be a good idea. So this guy can potentially attack too. Thinking about it now, that's actually what I should have done, but too late now. I mean, the attack is kind of okay actually too. I mean, put 7 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. It's 2 for 70 essentially. It's not too threatening obviously, but it's just a regular basic Pokemon. It is something though. I mean, so maybe put a few psychic energies, drop a few fighting energies and put a few psychic energies. Even if it's just 2. Thing is though, is that I don't have a lot of energies in this deck as it is. Space is tight. We only need a few energies to attack. Maybe some special energies, a few psychic energies, just something to make this attack as well. Wouldn't be bad. Anyway, and then the last Pokemon is this Sliglazar, just a free retreating guy, just so that I can have at least 10 basics in the deck, so that I don't mulligan all day. It's kind of my policy. Alright, and that's the Pokemon. Trainer cards, as usual, we got a lot of them. Got a bunch of balls, the nest balls, the ultra balls, and then the level balls. 3 level balls to get our basic Pokemon. It's a lot of targets. It's enough for you to get your guys when you need them. You can try VIP Pass if you want, but I'm not the biggest fan of that card. For me, that card only works in like really fast, really consistent decks like Fusion Strike decks. And Ultra Ball, of course, is a discard outlet. It's a big cost, but it's our best way to get the stage 2s. And we do have a bunch of cards, like once you get, your Pokemon, you don't need extra cards like nest balls or shit. You can discard them. Okay. Rare Candy, standard. Get your stage 2 out, max this out for sure. And then I got one trekking shoes as well, additional consistency. Nothing else to add. Of course, max of the Gutsy Pickaxe. This is another draw card, item-based, boost our speed, thin the deck. But if we get lucky and you get that extra attachment, it's actually pretty good. I mean, this is another reason why I think perhaps dropping the EX and just focusing completely on the regular Annihilape is the way to go. Because maybe if you get lucky, then the Annihilape can start doing 170 and then you're putting pressure quickly. Putting up pressure quickly without even letting your opponent get prizes. So something to think about, but I mean, I maxed this out anyway. All right. I mean, you know what? I gotta be honest. This guy, if you don't use the Angry Grudge and you do 150 for 2, you don't do any self-damage. So he's kind of solid still. It's not like it's completely bad to run him and just run this guy. So depending on the game state, depending on the circumstances, doing 150 for 2 can't be okay as well. And then you got HP to just tank. They're not gonna kill this guy easily. So, well, I mean, unless it's Gardevoir. I guess I should mention this now. This deck is gonna be really bad against Gardevoir. Just any Psychic deck. At least this guy is gonna get fucked. This guy has shit HP anyway, so he's always dying. But this guy, he's gonna be useless against Psychic decks. You can hit them for 240, I guess, and then, I mean, if you were going to die in one shot anyway, you get that big chunk in, then I guess it's fine. But I mean, it's kind of sad that weakness against Gardevoir fucks us up. Alright. Back to the trainers. What else? I think I covered most of the items. I got the 1 switch as well. Tech switch might be handy. 1 energy search, deck thinner card searcher, get an energy in hand. Something. You could drop this for like Psychic energy, as I've said, different energies for Mimikyu, and that's basically it. Supporter cards, standard stuff, the double research, don't want to go overboard with discarding. Got the 1 Cynthia's Ambition. This could be good because we got guys that are going to be dying in one shot a lot, so this can get me that plus draw until I have 8. Of course, we max out the Iono, gonna be really good in this deck, in pretty much almost any deck. I got the 1 Copycat. Once again, this can be pretty good against a lot of the decks that have big hands. Miriam, Recovery, Draw Power. This card is really nice for sure. I think many decks can afford to run it. Pot of Avarice basically for Pokemon. Can't go wrong with this. Boss's Orders, win the game, and then I got one of Irida as well. Don't have any water targets besides the Manaphy, but this is a Skyla-esque supporter. I can get the Manaphy and get an item. Can be pretty good. Alright, and did we forget anything? The Stadium of Choice, the last card, Path to the Peak. Doesn't really affect this at all besides the Jirachi, and it's going to hinder your opponent quite a bit. It's something that Gardevoir is going to hate too if you can keep it there, but they usually have ways to get rid of it easily, unfortunately. But this stops a lot of shit, not unfortunately, fortunately for us. Maybe you can put more of these so you can make sure it's kept around on the field and then get rid of something else. As I always say, my deck isn't gospel. I make these videos out pretty quickly. I try and make a deck and test with it a little bit and start showing matches with it. It's not like I've been testing with them for months. But it is a decent, solid list of what I've used. And then energies, 11 fighting energies. Can do a few different ones, like I said, if you want Mimikyu to attack. And that's about it. You don't need too many energies. 11 to 10 should be good because these guys just attack with 1 or 2 energies. So you don't need too many, which is a big plus. And this is the Annihilape deck, guys. It's kind of cool. It's not always going to be consistent because we don't have things like Greninja in that help us draw cards and other things. I mean, you could drop a lot of the Pokemon and do like a Bibarel Annihilape deck, maybe. You can try a few different engines to draw cards, depending on your preferences. I went this direction. It might not be perfect, but I did get a bunch of matches, and I'm going to show you guys next. So subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What-ay!